myself on stage, that would help, right? Okay, so here I am. I am multitasking like crazy, live in multiple places here. So what I'm gonna do is share my screen. If you follow me right now, so I am using um, StreamYard software as well on my laptop and streaming this also to Facebook, my personal page, to YouTube, and to Instagram. So, of course, right, if I'm going to take the time to do this, I want to get the most bang for my buck and get on as many platforms as possible. I am not a full-time content creator, so I am a nurse who runs a functional healing practice. I have a hard time defining it, what you call my practice. We work on root causes. I do a lot of detox and parasite work. So we want to get to the root cause of everything, right? We don't want to leave anything, no stone left unturned. We want to figure out what is wrong with you. What we're going to do today, let me get my screen share going. I want to share my entire screen over on those other platforms so they can see audio. Sure, why not? So they can see what is going on those platforms as well. All right, let's see if I got it to work. Right. I think so. Let's try it. All right. So before I came on live, I was working on a couple of distance scans that I was needing to get done. And one I definitely want to show you guys. It's a pediatric scan. So I'm going to bring that up here. Let me find it. Let's see. That is, so I don't like how that is working out, because when I share the full screen, then you can see names. So hold on, I'm struggling a little bit. I've got to first get where I want to go before I share my screen so I can keep privacy here. Okay, now let's share that. Hold on. Stick with me. All right, share screen. Sorry, TikTok, if you're there with me, I am just trying to get myself organized over on these other platforms. Okay, I think that'll work. I think I got it. Okay. So if you are on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, you could give me some feedback. So what I've got here is my bioenergetic machine. This is my Quest 4. And this is, I want to show you guys a pediatric scan that I just run. I have a diaper. So they sent me a diaper as well as a saliva sample. I put those on my scanner, and I'm going to energetically evaluate this DNA, looking for root causes, looking for problems. Let me flip that so you can see it better. All right, so this is what my screen looks like as I am doing this pediatric scan. I really like the pediatric scan. It uses a lot of rife in the peds scan. So we will, let me see. So the baseline here, it was a 14. So that's the wrong one, sorry. The baseline over here is a 7. So it goes up to 15 would be deep and chronic, and like 1 would be on the very surface. So that's kind of in the middle. What I know about this little guy, he's about 3 years old. He was born premature. He was born about 6 weeks premature, and he was sent home early on in the hospital on oxygen, and he struggles with like allergy symptoms, with catching bugs, and just having a really reduced immune function. So when we scan him, I wasn't surprised by what we found. So you are welcome to share the live, to like the live, to make comments, and I will try to get through them as I'm talking to look at those comments. So in this bioenergetic scan, when we do bioenergetics, we are never diagnosing, we're never treating specific conditions. We're just looking at the energy picture of the body. And then we want to help the body to come into an energetic balance. So it can be very subtle, but yet very powerful. We can use energy similar to homeopathy in order to help the body just balance. It's like blueprints. If we think about it in a term of a blueprint, it is very very it's easier to understand. It's easier to get your mind wrapped around. Hey Pamela, you have got some nurses in the family. Awesome. I honestly, as a nurse, I consider myself divorced from the sick care system. So I practice functional health. I use functional testing, traditional blood work. I use energetic testing and muscle testing to help my clients find the root cause of their illnesses. So I work with busy, open minded professionals who are not feeling their best, who are wanting to take back control of their health using more natural ways. So, this, what we're looking at right now, I do work with peds. So, I had showed earlier, I should show on this camera, I've got a diaper and I put that on my scanner. So, we're using the DNA in the urine to detect how we might help this little guy. So where he's out of balance, we'll see red and we'll see yellow. So red is over energized or inflamed, and yellow is under energized, like low energy, low mitochondria. Neither are better or worse. They're both just out of balance. So, and then this post test is whether or not we can just or energetically shift, or whether or not we might need some physical supplementation, some food changes, or that kind of thing to bring balance. So he's got some connective tissue. It's a 60. Over here in the report, we'll see the symptoms that may be related to discomfort in those affected areas. Could be weakness, could be skin issues, joint inflammation, muscle weaknesses, and it could have an emotional aspect. So that's what I really love about this energetic work is we always tie in how the emotions affect our physical health, and it is a really amazing tool to help that bring balance on an emotional level. Like, I'm not a therapist, but when I make this energetic imprint and give the client a little homework, a lot of people can really figure out, on their own through some journaling, some from self-reflecting what's going on. I'm watching Ball 3 videos. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep talking. So connective tissue, but it does balance. So I like that. Frontal sinuses, a little over energized over here. Again, he will get a report that will have all this information. The symptoms could be allergies, could be recurrent infection, might have tenderness, pressure, and the emotional aspect to breathe, to inspire, to take in new ideas. So this little guy's 3. So sinuses, that's emotional isn't going to be the first place that I go to for sinus. I'm going to say it's probably more seasonal, the air that you're breathing, the animals that you're around, those kind of things. Joints, and he's 3, so in stages of growing and all of those things. Joints, low energy. So, like maybe some mitochondrial dysfunction, maybe some parasite activity in that synovial fluid. It could be anything. And they don't want to balance. They're needing a little bit more help. So we will look at that in the filters, or we call it the holding tank. Maxillary sinus, low pressure there. So he had high pressure in one sinus over here and low pressure in these sinuses over there. So maybe I back up a little bit so you guys can see the screen more. And then we have got pituitary, that good old pituitary, a little bit fired up. The symptoms could include metabolic issues, hypo or low thyroid, growth, maturation concerns, recent head trauma, alterations in the immune system, and then emotional. Pituitary is sometimes called the seat of the mind, and it relates to reasoning and intellectual things. So for him, again, he's just 3. He was born about 6 weeks premature, and he does he's meeting his markers. He's not having issues in the developmental areas. So that's good. And I like to see that it does energetically balance. Let's see, can you see my clicker? It does clear itself with just that energetic suggestion. I like that. Reproductive organs are at a 70. So that's pretty significantly aggravated. And that could be, lots of different reasons. He's only 3, but there could be some inflammation there. There could be a tinge of infection there. It's hard to say, but it does balance. It does shift nicely. And then the stomach is at a 79. So that's pretty significantly aggravated as well. Things that may be symptoms that you might see might be just belly aches, hiatal hernia, bloating, deficiencies in B12, or that can lead to low red blood cells. So all of those things, emotional, digestion, an emotional aspect, symbolizes the ability to absorb what we need and to let go of what we don't need. So at 3, who knows if there's an emotional component there or not. And then we have thymus gland, and that one, is a little bit over, a little bit elevated. And he does have some sluggish immune system stuff going on. So we do know that that is kind of at play there. So I'm going to go to the next page. And this next page, we have to be kind of delicate with. We don't want anybody to get worried or fearful by the things that can show up in this next page. We need to always remember that it is just an energetic imprint. We're not diagnosing, we're not using scary words. I already had previously come over here and ran the baseline for those, a couple of things over here he had that needed more help balancing. The joints, and that was it for him, just the joints. So I ran those over here to go a little bit deeper on that joint area to see what we needed to look at. And when I did that, this is this baseline right here, and it's this homeopathy, Kali Mertricium. I never know how to say these things, but it is homeopathy, and it helps with collagen synthesis and collagen production. So that makes sense. So we will add the energetic imprint of that in there. We look at in this, I'm going to look at this very closely, and I'm going to look at the things that are the potential root causes, the potential causes. So in this column, they're like overhead categories, and then the balancing item is the actual item. And what I'm going to do is make an imprint. I'll make an energetic imprint. I will take just this bottle of distilled ozonated water, and I will put it on my machine like this, and I'm going to imprint. We believe water holds frequency, holds energy. So I'm going to imprint his balancing frequencies into that tincture and I will mail it to him. The software is going to tell me that he's going to take 13 drops of that 3 times a day for 5 weeks. And it is going to balance these areas on an energetic level. And when we balance on an energetic level, we see the body come into physical alignment. So it is pretty amazing. What I love about it, especially in the PEDS one, we'll see a lot of rife frequencies. So, like here, hand, foot, and mouth, that is a childhood virus. It is going to give us the rife hertz frequency, and it's going to add that to the tincture. So, we're going to add that good healing. I do like to kind of reorganize them and I look for the X's and the V's. Those are the things that maybe we need to take a closer look at as far as physically doing something about them. This mold and fungus, it's a 200, so I'm not too worried about that. If that number was between like 1 and 35, I might be more concerned and saying, you guys need to be looking around your house and see if you've got mold somewhere that you need to deal with, or you need to mitigate these hand, foot, and mouth. It's going to give him the hertz frequency. Now, at the time, did he have any mouth sores? Not that I'm aware of, but a lot of times from on an energetic frequency level, it's very subtle and it's like kind of way before the problem happens. This Picana remedy is something that I could use off the shelf because it is a 23X, but I don't think that I will. It's kind of about fat metabolism. And so that doesn't resonate with me for this kid. Allergy, and that's just general. So we're going to do some hertz frequencies in his tincture. And then electromagnetic. So, I definitely might suggest to mom that they put a EMF blocker in his room, maybe even put him on a grounding sheet, because that's pretty significant. That 4V, that's pretty significant. That's telling us that this little guy is having, his body is not liking some of this frequency. So let me try to look and see if there's any comments from anybody that's here. Thanks for all the likes, Jackie. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Bruce. Yeah. Yep. So this is not a website. It is my fancy Quest diagnostic machine. So, yep, it's just the software that goes with the program. Hey, Lindsay, I am running your little guy's scan right now. If you're there, that is what I'm talking about. All right, so I am kind of just finished up. Lindsay, did you just get here or have you been here for a minute? If you've got any questions in the comments, let me know. So what I'm seeing, so mom for this little guy just popped in. So I want to review this just a little bit more. George, what is the cost of that machine and the software? It is about a $20,000 investment, somewhere around in there. So yeah, it's significant. Yeah. So Lindsay, sorry, I should have got this done for you guys a long time ago. This is kind of what his baseline is looking at. I just did a nice PEDS and I'll quickly go over what we found. You've never seen this back office before. So the 7 here, it goes from a 1 to 15. So 7's kind of in the middle, not terribly chronic, just kind of right in the middle. And then over here is the systems affected. And always keep in mind that we're just talking about energy. When we see the pre-test, that's just kind of how he was. Post-test is whether or not we can energetically balance him. Everything energetically balances pretty easy except for the joints. Over here, we'll see red and we'll see yellow. Neither is good or bad. They're both out of balance. Red is overexcited. Yellow is not enough energy there to function optimally. So I'll make a printout for you that'll have this information. So he's got connective tissue, so maybe some aches and pains. That's a 60, so it's not terrible, but growing pains, you could chalk that up to a lot of things. Sinuses, that frontal sinus kind of aggravated over here. And then his other sinuses are kind of low. We see that a lot with season change, with being around pets, being around dust. Almost everybody that I run has got sinuses that want to talk. And then joints. Joints are under energized and then they shoot high. So they are having the hardest time struggling there too, with just a little guy. That can be growing pains, that can be, it could be a little microorganism in the joint cavities. It could be anything. We don't get too carried away, making guesses. And then this last one is the sinuses are just a little bit low. Pituitary, that is high but balances. The pituitary is kind of that master hormone. He could be revving up for a growth spurt. Could be anything. Reproductive organs, they are revved up and running high at 3. I'm not sure. I don't really have any good insight on why we'd be seeing that, but it is good that they balance. Stomach, a little bit aggravated, and that could have been just, when you did the sample and it's already gone by now. But it might be, that there's some foods that you want to start paying better attention to. And then thymus, and that is part of the immune system. So we know, he wants to catch every cold and all those things that are coming around. So that'll be great if we can get the body to go in and fix these things. That's the cool thing about energy, is giving the body the blueprints and asking the body to get in line and fix these things. When we go into the filters, though, that's pretty hard to understand, and I don't usually go into a whole lot of explanation. The main explanation is that there is like even asthma is there, and then there's some rife frequencies is the healing energy. Sore throat is there, and then there's healing frequencies. There is mold and fungus, and those are stronger. It's in a 200. If that number was like, 1 to 30, I might say take a look around your house and see if there's some mold or fungus somewhere growing that you're not aware of. Those are things that we want to always be aware of in our homes, especially with people who tend to have allergies or weaker genetically in the lungs or that kind of thing. But we are going to give him the frequency he needs to ask his body to correct those things. A balancing item for him is like Redmond sea salt. So that's super easy. A little bit more electrolytes. You can put a pinch in whatever water that he's drinking. When we looked at the baseline for those joints to go a little bit deeper, this is a homeopathy remedy that it came up with us for us. And I don't think we need to physically give that to him. We're just going to give him the energy. But that remedy helps with collagen synthesis or collagen production. So that will be great if we get his body. So it is wanting to clear those things. It'll have some other, different like bacterial type things. It's got this TMJ signature there, which is interesting because he does have a little misalignment in his bites. So yeah, that's interesting that came up. hernia that comes up, and it's actually a right frequency to correct that respiratory filter, and it's going to give us another homeopathy frequency in order to fix that. So that's what I will be doing then this afternoon. I'm going to make this imprint, and he's going to take 13 drops 3 times a day. All is what we are shooting for. But sometimes with daycare and things like that, we don't want to send those drops. So you can split that middle dose and add it to the morning and evening. We can get by with that pretty easy. So if Lindsay's still here, if she has any questions, she can quick ask them. Otherwise, I am going to move on to Vicky. Vicky, are you here? Vicky, if you are here, I had sent her a message. So Vicky won my scan. Anybody who is here on the live is eligible to win. I am going to stop sharing for just a second. And I got to bring up Vicky. I'm just going to switch the camera so you guys don't see all my client list. I'm going to bring Vicky. I think I put you in the computer earlier, but maybe I didn't. You guys might have to wait while I get her stuck in there. Let's see. Okay, nope, I didn't. Hold on. Stay with me. Go ahead while I'm doing this, like and share the live, if you will. If you're on other social media and if you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, I'm sorry, I can't manage the comments. I can't see them, but I should be able to see them after the live and go back and try to help you out if I can still remember what we were talking about. So then managing all this one-handed, that is interesting. Okay, one. Vicky, let me know in the comments if you're here. I'm just loading your information in the computer now. Okay, now let me go back and get my screen share going again. All right, I think I got it. All right, we're gonna run Vicky. Let me look at the comments. Vicky, are you there? Yeah, cats and dogs definitely equals sinus issues. Okay, she's here. Awesome. All right. So she won this in October. So she sent me her saliva and her hair sample. I'm going to put it on the machine there. Let me give you her bigger screen. And then we're just going to start with a comprehensive, do a pre and post, hit run here. This is going to be going through Vicky's energy imprint. Wow, so far we're not getting much. So sometimes that means that her energy is super low. It can mean a lot of things too, like Vicky, since you're here, you don't have to tell me what they are, but just in the comments, do you take medications at all? Sometimes if a person's on medications, it can kind of throw off this part of the test. You could try, and the YouTube will be on there later too, Vicky. You can rewatch it if you want to go back. So I am wondering though, Vicky, do you take any prescriptions? You don't have to tell me what they are. Just wondering if you take any. Yeah, and you can honestly, I don't know what's going on the YouTube and the other things because I can't see when I'm doing this. So hopefully it will look all right. It'll probably look like my phone for the most part. Right, so it's still working. So far, the only out of balance thing that we're looking at is your parathyroid gland. Everything else is either balanced or is low enough energy that I'm not getting a decent read. So over here on the baseline, it's deep though. It's 13 out of 15. So that tells me it is, kind of more chronic, that your body's like not messing around. It's ready to go a little bit deeper. Let's look at the filters. So always keeping in mind that what we see here is not diagnostic, and we're not going to freak out about anything, right? We're not diagnosing it. We're just looking at energetic imprints. So when we look over here, there is definitely some parasite activity. So like this says nematode. Your flukes, liver flukes are in that nematode family. Opening channels, so rehydration, that is a homeopathy product that there is a lot of people out there that have hydration issues where they're drinking plenty of water, but their body at some level forgot how to use it. So that rehydration, that when that comes up, that is one that I generally will recommend as a physical supplement, at least for a while. It really helps your body use that, what you're drinking again. A neurotransmitter, that's pretty strong. So that kind of points to a deficiency with that 5-HTP, which is in the B vitamins. It makes me, it can lead to restlessness, nervous tension, sleeplessness. If you're having sleep issues, I have a product from Designs for Health called Insomnitol. It's a chewable, and it's got melatonin. It's got some herbs that help you relax, and it's got that 5-HTP B family vitamin in it. It is an amazing product, and as strong as that is, well, and this Seratan, that is actually a product from energetic that they would be suggesting for you. It's got B vitamins, calcium. Yeah. Yep. So there's a good chance you might be a little B vitamin deficient. So that is definitely how do you sleep, Vicki? Do you have sleep issues? And then we've got a fatty acid signature. Let's see, this guy is in the way. Oh, I can't move it. Cool. Okay. Omega-3. So you might be either a little low in omega-3s, or you just might be having processing problems. So that's just kind of a little bit of a overview on DHEA, alpha lipoic acid, or omega-3s. So a little bit low on that is a good chance, and a good chance if you have a lot of it in your diet, it's either a low quality or it's something that you are not able to break down and utilize. Magnesium, if you're not taking magnesium, that might be in your best interest, and that is your female organs that are asking for magnesium. Your TMJ joint, it's not terrible, a little bit fired up. I don't know if you are a grinder, if you clench your jaw. Most people do at night if they're going to. You've also got a little some rogue bacteria there, but it's not super strong, and your body should be able to identify it and fix the problem when we give you the energetic imprint. You've got another protozoa filter. So a protozoa is a microscopic parasite that is usually in water. It's not something you're ever going to see. Like if you're doing you are a clencher. Yep. The protozoa is not something they're ever going to see come out of you. And those ones can really get in your joint cavities and give a person a lot of problems. But it's pretty like this. It's an 8,000 K. So it's pretty low key kind of thing. So yeah, you have eye issues. You want me to run eyes. All right, cool. So what I'll do is come over here and we'll pick new test. And then I always want the imprint information. And I will come down and pick eyes. How does that? And so we're going to ask the software to go deeper. We don't need the pre and post test on your eyes. So let's hit start and see what it says. And this is just the software running through a ton of stuff. So that's where I love muscle testing. I practice muscle testing, but this system is like asking so many questions that I would never think to ask when I'm doing muscle testing. So it's going deep and asking lots of different questions about your eyes. All right, so it's going to kind of scale things starting from the top to the bottom. Eye sarcoids. So a sarcoid is kind of, in my mind, I think of it as kind of like scar tissue, in a sense. So says the so that's very specific. That's very specific. And I can run you a report with this information on there. But again, when you read through it, you just don't want to over interpret it. You want to remember that this is energetic and it's not diagnostic. So we never want to get caught up in making assumptions. More sarcoids, visual field defects. What would you say is the problem with your eyes, Vicky? Do you know, like, if you had an injury or anything like that? So there's some fungal toxins there and pink eye. So, and that is emotional. So this strong one that's 4V, and they label it pink eye, but it's an emotional. You see that feeling of frustration. So part of your eye problems could be tied to emotions and feeling frustrated. What's that one? Yeah, laminate. Are you doing like the castor oil or anything like that in your eyes, Vicky? Just some general hertz frequency, just says eye disorders, and it's going to give us 1600 hertz frequency, and that is one of the stronger remedies. Cataract, it's going to give us some frequency to balance that or counteract that. All right, just started with a castor oil. Keep it up. I want to be brave. I haven't done it yet. There's a gal that I catch on TikTok, and she does the castor oil and DMSO combination, and I would like to try that. I'm just with the Bifocals, needing bifocals. It's really annoying. Diagnosed with. I don't know what that is, Vicky. I have to look it up. Drusen. It now has caused you to be fearful. Yeah, I am not, sorry, excuse me. I am not familiar with what that is. Yeah. So when I make these drops for you, I think what I will do is take a little bottle of castor oil and I'll imprint your balancing frequencies in the castor oil in an eye drop for you. The software, if we were going to do it, says 5 drops 3 times a day. With the castor oil, we'll just do 1 drop. But that's what I'll do. I'll mail you this eye one and we'll put it in castor oil, and you can put it right in your eyes or on your eyelids, and we will just ask and we will stand in prayer together that between these frequencies, the castor oil, and our standing in agreement on the good Lord's ability to heal you, that we will move mountains and your eyes will be healed. So yeah, there's that. What else did you mark? You had some other things. You had mostly the eye. Yeah. And then Vicky, I will also do for you, and I won't do that live because sometimes those are just too personal. But the next one that I'm gonna do is not what I meant with the personal. We'll do the general, and that is gonna go through products. And I'll do the informational live. The next 2 scans I'll do live, and then the emotional one I won't do live. I'll just do that one and send you the reports, because there can be weird stuff in there that it's just, we don't want to do that live. It's can be too uncomfortable. Right. So looks like there's a few new people here. Do you have any questions, Vicky, while we're waiting for this to run through? I'm glad you were able to get on live. I told her, yeah, we'll do this Wednesday. And she's like, Tanya, Wednesday is Christmas. Leave it to me. I never know what day of the week it is. If I didn't have a calendar, and I just like to work. Like, I don't ever worry about taking days off. I love my work. So if you are just joining us, I'm Nurse Tanya. I am running a bioenergetic scan on our October winner. Vicky won our scan in October. And what that means is that she had to be willing to let me do this live when that's it. If you register, you're going to have to be willing to do it live. You don't have to be live with me, but I'm going to run it live anyway. I won't say who you are if you're not here. But yeah, if you anybody is welcome to register. You can only win once, but you can register. How do you get tested in this manner? So this is like what I do. Let me flip the screen for while this is running. This is what I do. I am Nurse Tanya. I own and operate Awaken Wellness in Montana. I am a functional health practitioner. So, what I'm doing right now is one of my primary ways of testing. It is a bioenergetic scanning system that energetically tests you. It's like muscle testing, but the software goes way deeper. It asks way more questions than I would ever think to ask. In my practice, I work one-on-one. I coach people. I work one-on-one, either in a group coaching setting or in an intensive coaching package. So I help busy, open-minded professionals take back control of their health. As a nurse, I have divorced the sick care system. I still, in my clinic, I do some like nutritional IVs. I draw my own blood work. I do functional testing with my energetic testing, and use quite a few different modalities to try to figure out what your root causes are and how we can get the body to a place where it starts to heal itself again. We know that the Lord designed us to heal. that autoimmune disease is a bullshit definition of what the medical world tells us that our body is attacking itself. And that is absolutely, I'll stand on my soapbox all day and say that is not true. Your body was perfectly designed by the creator to heal and protect itself. Autoimmune disease means there is something in that body that was never intended to be there. And the body is desperately trying to clean it out. The body is not attacking itself. The body is trying to protect itself from something that should not be in there. So in my work, I do a lot of foundational health. Foundational health means deep dive, cellular level, restoring your mitochondrial function and detoxing, not like a 30-day detox, deep cellular level, cross the blood brain barrier detox and parasite cleanse for a minimum of 120 days. Then after that, we probably want to do a stool test and see what's going on in your gut. But that detox is like taking a sledgehammer to the inside of your body, completely renovating your house. So there's no sense in doing food allergy testing or stool testing until after that 120-day foundation. And then we want to know specifically what is needed to restore the body. So I I just gotta say, I have the best job in the world. I absolutely have the best job in the world. And how can you get tested in this manner? So for today, you can sign up to try to win a free scan. I do one for one, like pay for fee type thing. And the scan includes a consultation as well as 3 imprints, and that is $250. And you can do just that and never work with me again. Or you can say, okay, I need to restore my body. If you are on medications, if you have chronic disease, if you have autoimmune, if you've had CANCER, then you got to give me a year. Like, you got to give me a year. When our body is broken, it doesn't fix in 30 days. It doesn't fix with one little parasite cleanse tincture. That is just not how the body works. A lot of people that I work with intensively have fallen into the trap of some of these home remedies, of going it alone and making themselves worse. Parasite and detox work is so tricky. And when we buy into these just little kits and going it alone, we don't realize, even maybe till a year goes by, that we made ourselves worse. We just pissed the parasites off to where they burrowed in deeper. Or the toxins, like your methylation pathways are so intricate and so tricky. If you've got autoimmune disease or you've had CANCER, your methylation is in trouble. There is some genetic SNPs, there's some missing nutrition components, there's some serious stuff going on. And I don't take that haphazardly. I don't take that lightly. So that was a long-winded answer to Liz's question. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I've got some results. Sorry, guys. If you were asking me questions, like, I missed it, so just ask. If you're still here, ask me again, please. I'm gonna switch screens again so you can see my screen. Okay, Vicky, this is just called your general. So what it did was scan you against all the products that I use. So all of those standard process, all of the designs for health, all of the energetics, and then some that I don't have in stock. So what it did was scan you for best matches. So scanned you, so we're not just in the dark making recommendations, product recommendations. I am going to go through and I'm just going to reorganize them. I'm going to look mostly for the X's and the V's. Sometimes um, the CK is emotional. So let's just look at the X's and the V's. So here we see again. So earlier we saw that you might be needing some omega-3s, and that came up again of fatty acid deficiency. So the product that this is pointing to, and if you want to go through me and get a full script account, I have a link in my bio for that. I also, when I get your scan kind of wrapped up, I'll make a couple of recommendations. But this picked for you, SP means standard process, and this is the product that it picked, and it's a 6X. And like I say, on your other balancing item, we saw that your body was asking for some omega-3s, was asking for some support there. So that is a product. And then we have, so for your female nutrients, it is thyrotrophin. So, and that also is from standard process. It has got bovine thyroid gland in it. So let me know, Vicki, do you know that you have a little underactive thyroid or any thyroid problems going on? And the thyroid can help the adrenals as well. It helps your whole HPA system. So those are great recommendations. And then it is also standard process, right? Is your company. It is also for antioxidant deficiency, recommending the SP Complete Chocolate. That is a shake mix. Don't know about thyroid. So yeah, it's something to consider. And if you haven't had your thyroid tested, I can help you do that. We can do some blood work and see what those numbers look like. It's always great to have a baseline. I still, as a nurse, I love my blood labs. I do a really cool service where you can give me your labs that you already own, you already possess, and I will take a functional look at them. So we'll look for optimal function. And that is so valuable, especially for people who are frustrated with, they've been to the doctor and the doctor says, you're fine, your labs look fine, go home and come back when you're sicker, right? Like, that's not what nobody wants to hear that. If you were feeling shitty enough that you made the effort to go to the doctor, that is not what you want to hear. You're fine. Come back when you're sicker, right? So that is a functional service that I do too. You don't have to be a client. Right now, I'm getting busy. I'm not going to be able to offer things like that randomly hit and miss outside of my high ticket clients. But right now I can. For right now, I can still, just take your money and read your labs and give you the plan. Then another one for you is Shazandra. And that is from MediHerb, which is standard process line. Again, that is a liquid herb. Shazandra is an amazing adaptogenic herb that really, it helps with mental clarity, boosts energy, protects your liver, protects your adrenals. That is an amazing product as well. So those are the top recommendations for you. Inositol, I like that as well. And it's under the heading of sleep support, but inositol can really help your blood sugar metabolism. It definitely can help sleep. It's a great product too. Then it is it's warning you, Vicki, that your lymphatic system would like some additional support. That's pretty high on the list. So if you're not already doing some dry brushing, doing some rebounding, and some things like that, you might want to start. Also, like when we're going down the list, collagen is there. Collagen C, that's from standard process. That has got a lot of vitamin C, like whole food vitamin C. our body needs to have vitamin C as a building block to synthesize to make collagen. So that is maybe something you want to consider upping foods in your world that have vitamin C. Even doing the lemon juice in the morning, extra citrus fruits, and then that collagen even to get in maybe some bone broth or different things like that. Fermented beetroot powder, that is from Azure Well. So if you are familiar with Azure, like that's a food company, they've got their own supplement line. Unfortunately, I did a bone density, and I think those results and my age need collagen. Yeah, collagen's kind of a big deal. There isn't too many out there that couldn't benefit from some collagen. That is very true. Very true. Okay, so we did that. We are going to, and those recommendations, I'll set up a full script account for you and send those, so you don't have to remember what they are right now. I'll send them to you. Okay, then we're going to do informational. This is kind of one of my favorite scans. This is blueprints. So this is going to go through your genetic SNPs and looking for abnormalities, deficiencies. This one I am just not going to show you too much of because, one, it doesn't make very much sense to the untrained eye, and two, there could be too many words, things in there that make you worry, and you don't need to worry about them. Yeah, I do have blood work stuff available. Depending on what you're looking at or what you're looking for, if you have the ability to take the kit in and have to a lab and have your blood drawn and spun, then we can do a ton. If you don't have the ability to do that, there are different companies that you can get a lot of answers just with a finger prick that you can do at home. So when we're picking out those labs, it kind of depends on what you have access to, what we can do. Let me flip. Got to do my puzzle piece. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, it all kind of depends on what you have access to. I have got access to like Dutch tests are really popular, and stool tests. I do a lot of saliva genetic testing. So I use a company called Designs for Health, and I have grown to love. They have got a couple of little very affordable lab tests. The one is a urine test, and we can look at your metabolic picture. It does a little toxins, it does a little metabolic pathways. It's really nice and well rounded. And then they point us to their support supplements. And they also have, it takes forever. That part doesn't impress me, but they've got a saliva genetic panel, and I trust their lab that they're not going to, reuse your information or anything like that. That saliva panel will tell us if you've got MTHFR issues, if you've got COMT gene issues, or things like that are going on that are preventing you from properly methylating. Both of those tests are really great to tell us about your mitochondria pathways and like your ATP, your citric acid pathways. So it really tells us if there's toxins in the way that are keeping your body from making energy in that ATP cycle, or if there's a genetic issue that we're always going to have to do a workaround, that we're always going to have to treat your body a little bit special and support it. And a lot of times that means the B6. That means we don't want folic acid, we want folate, right? So, or a lot of times it's the precursors or it's the glutathione. And that test is really, really, I love that test. It is less than $300. It is so worth it. And it's one then that you can retest like in 6 months and you can see the difference. really interesting. A lot of times in that urine test, we'll see people's oxygen deficiencies. So it would be super interesting for those people in this group that use that EB box, where we're saying it oxygenates your body, right? So that metabolomics test, we could prove it. So if you just got a box, or if you're going to get a box, it would be super cool to do that test now, then use the box for 3 months and retest. And you should be able to see major differences. Like when we see in that test, if a person's oxygen levels are deficient, their lactic acid will be really high, and some of their other acids will be high. So even when I have a client that comes that tells me they can't sleep, one, because they can't sleep because they're up peeing all night, instantly it's like, let's take this test. And it is about sleep apnea. So a lot of times, if you're getting into a deep level of sleep, you shouldn't have to pee during the night. That gets turned off so you can sleep. If you're in the right level of sleep, you don't have to pee. So it's early in the morning when you are coming out of that deep sleep, and then you can feel that coming on. You can feel your bladder filling up. So our body was designed that way so we can rest. So if somebody is told me that they can't sleep or those kind of things, that lactic acid is going to be super high. So you can start with some position changes, with mouth taping, with learning how to breathe through your nose at night and not your mouth. So just interesting. Let me quick look through. Lots of likes. Thank you for liking it. Can you locate those tests through my link tree? I don't know. I think so. If not, I know you can go through Linktree to my website. And then on my website, I've got lab tests and affiliate links tab. So you might have to get all the way to my website. My Linktree, I don't pay for it, so it doesn't hold very many things. Oh, and the blood test, like if you want a big blood kit, you're going to have to get a hold of me. Those I don't. Those are in my Shopify, the blood kits. But sorry, it's hard to organize your website when all these things come from different places. Okay. Just quick looking at comments so I don't miss anything. All right, we're going to go back to, this is the information report. All right. The information report, like I say, I'm not going to give you guys too much access to this because some of it is just confusing and can be kind of scary. Alkaline. So whenever I see that, there's just really, in my mind, not a chance that anybody is too alkaline. So when alkaline comes up, that tells me you need to work on getting more alkaline in your life. So whether you have to get on some betaine for stomach acid to help your colon get more alkaline, or if first thing in the morning, you can put a little baking soda in your water before you get going. Alkaline foods. So more alkaline, that's a V. Let's get them organized. So the stronger ones are on top or on the bottom. This, no mutation, amino acid. Sorry, I'm just going to kind of quick read these. This is a product, Flora Synergy, and that is a pretty strong. And then we saw this one again. We've seen that product from Energetics twice, that Serotin. So those I can recommend through Full Script for you. The Flora Synergy, that's a chewable capsule. So it's got the probiotic and prebiotic. And that too, might help your overall well-being. It's always about the gut, always about the gut. So that is opening channels. So yeah, and that is what it's called. Designs for Health has an opening channels program. And then that Energetics Sorry, it's energetics, not designs for health. And that again is that vitamin C, that collagen. So it's got the vitamin C's, it's got the B6, folate, the HTP. So that would probably be a good product for you. We've seen that now in a couple of these scans. And then get some electron transport chain. So I was just talking about that. In that other test that we do urine, we see that electron transport chain. And a lot of times is super important in that electron transport train to your body to make cellular energy. You need CoQ10. And that is what this is telling us right here, is that you could be somewhat deficient in CoQ10. Either that or there is a toxin in the way of that production. Either way, like a really cool product from Designs for Health is called Mitochondria NRG. And it's got your B vitamins in it, and it's got CoQ10, it's got a lipoic acid, and a couple of other very important things. So it kind of covers that ATP cycle like all on its own. Vitamin A is a pretty big need there. And then that mutation, glutamine. Yeah. And it's interesting, if you actually do the gene SNPs in saliva, then we can compare them to see what the machine came up with. So, like I said, this is all gets kind of deep and over the head and not very interesting to go through. So I'm going to just get out of there. And I'm going to, just because I'm here and I want to do it, I'm going to quick hit this emotional one, but we won't go over it. We'll keep that private. I'm going to do just the general emotion scan for you, and we'll just hit start. I will let you know how deep it is, like the amplification. It's an 8. So that's, about in the middle. And then it's just going to run through all these factors. And I will make you an imprint with those balancing items. Do you feel like, Vicki, that your emotions are a big part of your health, or are you like, not too emotional? Right, just kind of looking at comments here. Thanks everybody for hanging out with me this afternoon. I am probably about ready to wrap it up. Let's see. Yeah, big part. Yeah, we do. We're very emotional beings, and that's what I love about doing this test. I will show you quickly here. So a big balancing item for you is this field of flowers, and that is one. If you want me to imprint in that, it is $32.99, I think. And field of flowers uses those flower essence, their homeopathy, their flower essence. So they themselves are really nice and calming. And then I'm going to add your personal balancing energy to it. And the directions are going to be to take 8 drops 3 times a day for 6 weeks. And then you can do some journaling and go through this scan and just kind of help yourself work some of these things. Yeah, like Bach flower. Yep. Yep. And you can do the homework and do the journaling and work them out, or you could just take the remedy and it'll still balance either way, whether your mind puts into motion or you just let your tissues release the negative emotions. It works either way. Right, just kind of quick looking back. If anybody has any questions, we'll kind of wrap up here in the next couple of minutes. Let me do stop sharing, go over to my other Yeah, it looks like somebody might be here. Hi. I've been paying attention to my TikTok audience and not really paying attention over here. So if anybody was watching, oh my goodness, it's been an hour already. This video will be, I will keep it up. It will be on YouTube. It will be on Facebook. If you just popped in to TikTok and you would like to see the rest of the story, you can do that. Would that be great for grief? Oh, absolutely. Grief is a really hard animal to deal with. Yeah. Yeah, yes. And I've got your address, so that's where I will mail those things to you. I will also send you, that'll be in my Jane system, where your little reports are. And then you get the 3 free imprints, or you can upgrade if you want to upgrade to that Bach flower. I'll give you, or the Field of Flowers, I'll give you the chance to do that. And then I will send you a couple of product recommendations through FullScript. A Field of Flowers. It is Field of Flowers. I swear, we're always rearranging these things. Oh, here it is. Field of Flowers. It's just a little remedy from Energetics. And then when I make this for her, I will, if she chooses the upgrade, I put it on here like that and upload her balancing frequencies into it. So this product all by itself is cool and does amazing things, but I am going to personalize it for her. So it is really powerful. What is the homeopathy company with the flowers? Did I answer that? Oh, there is a, it's just called Bach flowers. I don't stock those in the store, but it's like BACH. And I think that is the name of the company. And then they've got more individualized. The Energetics just puts all of them in one product. So then your body decides which essence it agrees with. Yeah, for grief, another amazing one, and that is a little bit harder for me to get to you. You'd have to message me. But this guy here from Cellcore, this Emmy support, is amazing. It's got frequencies in it, and it's got chamomile and lavender, and I often imprint into it too as well. So that one is not on FullScript, Liz, but if you're interested in it, it is, oh, I feel like it's $45 or something like that. But it is an amazing, amazing product. But Liz, the Field of Flowers you can easily get. Just go to my link in bio and go to FullScript and then type in Field of Flowers. I do think on FullScript they have some of the Bach remedies as well. So you can get those there. Sorry, everybody, I kind of forgot that I had this camera on. I'm going to go ahead and shut off my live stream. On the other social media platforms, I still don't know if it worked on Instagram, if anybody looked. Let's shut that down. Okay. All right.